Welcome to the TAE Time Podcast.
Like, I feel like we just been doing anything on this podcast and showing up.
I'm showing up like this because I'm trying to get views for the clips.
Yeah, so if you guys are listening and are not seeing, Farouk is wearing a really beautiful Christmas robe.
Yes.
That he took from the back of a wardrobe somewhere.
Yes, because we need views, and the Minnie Mouse one bombed. It did well. People see that and they're laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to continue that. I milk it, and I'm wearing this one. I don't know what I'm going to do for next week, let me not lie, because I'm pretty sure that's all the funny outfits we have.
Running out of options here.
We have no more funny outfits in the house. I might even have to start resorting to buying funny outfits.
Do you know what we could do? Buy like a funky hats or like headbands or something.
We're not doing that. We
can't do that.
But I will try to do stuff that is eye-catching and eye-grabbing, because Nicoleta is just sitting there looking pretty. So I need to do something to catch people's attentions. But
oh my God.
Despite that, and our brief intro, how are you? How has life been?
I've been good. I'm trying to think. Oh, we went back home for a little while.
Yes,
to good
we went
old
to Kerry.
Tralee.
Thanks for doxing where we live.
Oh my God, as if they haven't heard on this podcast. Anyways, It was really good. I think it was really, really nice to see everyone and do the rounds around the families and friends and everyone. So that was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
I feel
I saw.
And we saw your friends' little babies, so that was definitely a highlight for me. Yeah, your godson.
Yeah, very good. It was very enjoyable. Shout out. Adorable kids, beautiful kids.
Very beautiful.
I've just been chilling, working, and I'm about to get busier. So not fun, like very not bueno.
Not bueno. But you have a trip coming up soon.
Very not bonita.
Do you feel bonita?
I feel very bonita right now.
Good, because you look bonita.
But yeah, no. So, but it's calm. It is what it is. And anyway, moving on. Let's get on to the meat and potatoes.
The topic of the day.
Ruin it. Okay, whatever. So today, Nicoleta want to go through with us to talk about her experience of doing the month of Ramadan. Anyone who says Ramadan, stop it. It's Ramadan. Anyway,
it just is what it is.
But yeah. So let's start off with what made you decide to do this, because it wasn't me. Before all of you guys go like, oh my God, he's slowly converting her.
No, forced me into a corner. He said, if you don't do this, we're not getting married.
I didn't even tell her. I didn't even think she would, and she just came and told me. So
yeah.
What was your justifying reason to get into it?
Okay, so obviously, well, it's not maybe obvious, but if you don't know, I'm not actually Muslim, right? Oh, crazy.
Who would have guessed?
But I've been with you for a long time, so I already knew the concept of Ramadan, and I feel like every kind of like year, like you give back to community, so I've been part of that, and I really like it. And I felt like I didn't really like where we haven't really talked about religion on the podcast, so it does feel a little bit weird. It's like I
don't like talking about religion on the podcast.
Yeah, this just a little disclaimer. It does feel like we're opening ourselves up a lot here
for assault.
But okay, so I feel like my relationship with God hasn't like been as strong, right? And I kind of wanted to use this month to like work on my faith a little bit.
Oh my God. Do you believe in God?
I believe in God.
Weirdo.
Do you?
Yes.
Exactly. And I kind of, like I said, I wanted to build my relationship, and you might think, oh, why can't you just use the month without fasting or whatever? But I really wanted to have something that's like a constant reminder to be a good person, to pray, and like things like that. And like when such a big part of your life, like, food and water is taken away, you remember that. So then automatically I don't know, I guess it just kind of kept being brought up throughout the month. So I think that was really, really good.
Okay. Me. And then how did you find the actual fasting? Like, oh my God, wait, can you guys have food? Oh wait, not even water?
No, we can't have water either.
Oh my God. For the people who don't actually, before you even go into that, for people at home who don't know how it kind of works, how does it work?
The way you're asking me, like I didn't take so much learning from you. Because like I'm testing to see.
Yeah, we're waiting. The people at home are waiting.
Okay, so basically you fast from, you know, sunrise to sunset. So you don't eat, or
for the people at home, that is from Fajr, which is the first prayer of the day, which is you can't eat from that time, to Maghrib, which is the second last prayer of the day, the fourth prayer of the day.
Yeah. And you know, every day the time changes a little bit, like a few minutes, or if there's like a time change, which it was this time.
There was.
What's it called? Like a
the sun, whatever, daylight savings. We went up forward by an hour. So like the first 2 or 3 days, it was like 7:14 breaking time, and then it just went to 8:15.
I know, it was a little bit intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the time where you don't drink water or eat or consume anything really. And how did I find it? I feel like I was a little bit sick at the start, so I couldn't like fully like do it, and you know, then I had like 4 or 5 days in between, and then you know, I finally did like about like I think 20 days in total. And I think at the start, like the hardest part was trying to wake up to eat at like
first suhoor time.
You know, first suhoor, maybe like what, 3:50 a.m., 4 a.m.
the
kind of
suhoor
time.
Finished at like Fajr time, which was around, I think at the time was like 4:40, 4:50 or something like that. So so you have to eat between like, obviously after like you break up until that time is what you have to eat. But the thing is like you go to bed and then you wake up to eat and then you have to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
That was hard because I felt like my sleep was disturbed, right?
Yeah.
So I woke up and I did it though. I woke up and I ate, but then I kind of struggled a little bit to go back to bed just because, you know, I just ate. I had a little bit more energy. I was fully awake. So it took a little while to go back to sleep. And then when I woke up again for work, I felt really tired. You know, I felt like I didn't get a full night's rest. And I think by, you know, halfway through, I just gave up on it. And I know when I was talking to your dad about it, he was like, oh, you know, try to wake up even for a bit of water. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to wake up the entire time. No. For sure.
It's not that easy.
Yeah.
For any veterans who's been fasting a long time, we all know that eventually you just give up on suhoor. Like, you're just like, I'll suffer through the day. I'd rather do that. Like, you eventually just be like, oh, I hate, because it is hard. Like, when you're like, especially when I was living at home, it was all right because my dad would always wake up for it. My dad would just wake us all up, and then we go eat, and then we go back to bed. Especially like when we were younger, and it was during summer, and you know we didn't have school. It didn't really matter. But for me, it did because I can't sleep back properly. So like I was just
during
awake.
The day.
You know, so like my brothers were able to sleep, I wasn't able, so like it kind of screwed me over. But like, so I would wake up and I'd just be tired as hell. But yeah, no, it's definitely not easy. And then eventually you just don't wake up for sure. Even though there is actual blessings for waking up, like it's like there's additional quote unquote blessings for like actually waking up during that time. It's really hard. It's actually it's not for the faint of heart. Like waking up in the middle of the night to eat and then go back to bed, even trying to eat in the middle of the night, as you know yourself, is not that easy.
Yeah, because I've seen, you know, like some TikTokers doing like, oh, you know, waking up before Fajr and like eating, you know, suhoor with my husband, and it was like 6 a.m. something. I'm like, oh, 6 a.m. I would happily do 6 a.m. if that was the case here.
In all the Middle Eastern countries, fasting is a lot easier just because of the way the sun works. But definitely, like, it is not easy to eat a lot of food during that time. Yeah. Like, probably, like, tip and trick is to, like, eat something light, you know? Yeah. Try to eat something light. And, like, what I do personally is I just stay up. I just stay awake until like 3 a.m. Yeah. And then I go to sleep after that. Instead of sleeping and waking up, I just stay awake. Yeah. That's what I did, like, anytime I was fasting. There's
some weekends when we stayed up, so that made it easier to even get, like, my water intake in and eat until later on. But when it was, like, a work night, it was just really...
Yeah, because Nicoleta needs her sleep, so she was struggling.
Like, during the day, I was just like, I want to take a nap so bad. Like, there were lunch times when I would just take a nap. And luckily, you know, I work from home, so that was easy and accessible. I think one of the, I guess, other harder things was the water. I think being so dehydrated was crazy.
Dehydration is the biggest part.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, like it's not the food you necessarily miss. It's the, like, being thirsty as hell throughout the whole day. That's a very big part. That's, like, very hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, you yourself, it came up in your blood results instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't realize how fast your body reacts to it.
Yeah, like my body reacts very quickly to it anyway. So, but yeah, no, definitely like and then how did you find, like, let's say the first few days of you actually doing like the fasting? Like,
I think, after the first 2-3 days, it just gets so easy, like almost easier to do it. I was talking to one of my friends recently, and I was saying I felt really at peace for like the entire month. I don't know if this because I had no energy or what.
I think that's definitely a big factor.
But I did feel really at peace, right? I'm not answering your question exactly, but my brain went somewhere else, so I'm gonna
go on.
But like, I was definitely before someone who would like get hangry, right, a lot, or just like get moody and let that determine how I interact with others or how I act out.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like, I wasn't like that at all, this throughout the whole month. Like,
which was very surprising to me. I thought she would be very moody all the time, but she actually wasn't moody from being hungry.
No, not at all. I just felt like really at peace. And like I said, I wanted to use the month to work on like myself and how I interact with others and how I like show love to others. And you were a big part of that because obviously we live together. And I really, really tried to work on that, but it felt really easy. I didn't feel like I have to try, I was just like in a very loving, kind of giving a lot of love, position, which was really nice. Actually. How did you find me fasting? Did you see like a change?
I thought you were just chill. It was pretty calm. I was very surprised that you were able to do it right off the bat very easily, because I do know like people do struggle, like definitely, but you actually very well, you were able to take it on the challenge straight away, and you're just like, just don't eat, don't drink water, just go. Which is very surprising, because like obviously like for me, like I've done it like since I was a kid, like for many years, until like I got older and I couldn't really do it as much due to like my own health issues and so on and so forth. Like I do some days here and there, but I was like, damn, she just like took it right on the chin like straight away. So I was like, big props to you. Like definitely, it's not something anyone can just say they just did, like, and did consistently. So like that's why I said like I was interested in finding like how you felt like from start to finish the days progressed. Like did you find it harder as time went on, or did you find it like after the first few days you just got the hang of it and you just stayed consistent throughout that? Like it wasn't, and like where was the hardest point? Like what was the peak of the hill, and then it went back to like calm again?
I think the peak of the hill is about 1 hour before breaking. Like it's like, oh my god, now I'm feeling like I could eat. And the time,
you see the clock ticking.
You keep looking. But luckily for me, Farouk was really supportive. So as in, I'd be like, can you wait for me to go to the gym in the evening? So he would have to wait until I was finished eating around like 8:30 towards the end of it. And our gym is only open till 10. So it's very quick, like eat and get out of the house. So I really appreciate that. But it was like that hour beforehand, what I was doing, I started watching like a bunch of series to try kill more time. Work obviously. And then I tried out so many recipes, because I was like, what better way than to like, prep the food right before I'm about to eat it. And I feel like I really, really enjoyed doing that. Like just felt like the love towards the food and, trying out new things and without needing to taste it. You know what I mean? It was just like,
you're letting your ancestors work through you.
Exactly. I don't want my ancestors, maybe other people.
That's what I be doing every time I seasons. I just let my ancestors work right through me. But that's and then I guess especially working, how did you find that? Like especially now, like as you said, you go gym, you work. How was that fast? Like especially like in Ireland, where like things aren't catered towards people who are fasting. Like it's not like like Dubai or the Middle East where like things are open early, closed later and stuff, and open early and stuff like that. How did you find fasting in Ireland, working and also being a fitness person?
I'm gonna start with work first because it was a big part of my day. I think I'm in a really privileged, lucky position that I was working from home. Because I wasn't expending as much energy, going outside the house, walking around, running around, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't even like, talking to people like that to that extent. It was just like important meetings as I do day to day. So I think I'm definitely going to talk from a point of privilege of working from home. And there were times in the days when I was like, like I just don't, I'm not in the mood right now. I just want to take a nap. But then when, you know, I stopped waking up and I was just working normally, I felt like my head was really clear. I feel like I understood things a lot faster.
Oh.
And I just felt like really on top of my game.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I know usually if I eat in the mornings, whatever, I get a little bit sluggish or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But I felt really aware. I felt really, really aware.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Because, like, even for me, like, when I did fast while I was working, well, obviously, I did. At that time, I was going to the office and stuff. And even the days here, I felt, but once again, like, take this with a grain of salt because, like, fasting for me is a lot harder. Like, you know, like, especially because of my medical issues. But, like, it's definitely one of those things that's like I feel really tired and I feel really drained, and I don't know, maybe it's the nature of my work. Like a software engineer, I'm using my brain the whole time, so I'm just like burning all the calories, you know, thinking. But like I do find it like a little bit difficult, and I'm like, especially near the end of the day, I'm just like, whatever. So that's a very interesting contrast there that you have there. That you're like, oh, I'm more tuned and focused in, you know. So like, and how did you feel like that impacted your work? Then did you feel like that month you really were like, bam, 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 bam?
I was like, bam. No, I do think that I was maybe a little bit more on my game than usual because I feel like I did understand a lot more things that were coming to me straight away rather than like having to think about it or ask other people about it or whatever. And I think I was a lot more likely to take the initiative to, you know, go and do stuff myself, which sounds bad. I do that at work. Like,
she's like, I do work, guys, don't worry.
I do work. But, you know, I don't know. I felt really aware at work. And that was a good chunk of my day that was spent, so I didn't have to think about anything. You know, it was just like working, and during lunchtime I just take a nap.
Yeah, okay. And then how the gym, how was that impacted by
big one?
The big one. How was that impacted by the fasting?
I think fitness and fasting, it's a bit of a tricky one, I guess, for me, because obviously it's my first time, so I was trying to see what works for me. I did feel like, for example, there were days that I was fasting during the weekends when our gym closed earlier, so I had to just go, and I still wanted to go for a walk because I felt like I wasn't doing anything during the day, and I felt like I wanted to get out of the house. And at first you told me, you were like, listen to this,
Nicoleta wanted to actually train. Nicoleta during the day, and it's not like in the evening, she wanted to dead ass train during the day. She was like, oh yeah, I've been fasting, it's fine, I feel okay. And anyone who fasts knows you can't do that. Like, you feel okay before you train. But then the moment you start training, you're like,
hold on.
Wait, the world is spinning, things are moving, my head is dizzy. Because you're dehydrated as hell. You have no energy to expend. So you're just like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, like it's very hard. Like, you know, like it's very hard because especially you don't have any of the absorption. You just straight away, you're gone. Yeah,
it was a day that I felt like, don't worry about me. But I should have been, because I was like, I'll just go for a walk. You know, I took his advice, and I'm glad I did because that walk trained me. It really did. Like, it takes all your tiny little bit of energy left, and you're just ready to go and sleep and eat. But yeah, that was that kind of during the day, and then usually I would work out in the morning, so I didn't do that. I just kind of slept a little bit later so I can eat a little bit like later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And sleep in a little bit more. And then I would, like I said, after I ate in the evening, would just get ready straight away and go. And it's weird how like instantly, as soon as you like eat and like drink water, you feel so much more energized.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, I can go and train for the world. But I actually wasn't capable to fully train to my capacity.
Yeah, because you haven't gotten time for anything to absorb yet.
Yeah.
So like, and especially like the big thing is that our gym closed at 10. Yeah. So like you're in there like for maybe like 9 or something, and like you've just eaten like maybe 20 minutes ago, not even, and then like the food is literally still digesting your system, you know. So it's like kind of that, like you don't have time to absorb the energy that you're going to use to expend. You know, you just have a little bit of like a boost, but you don't have enough. So that's why it's like, as I said, like in the Middle Eastern countries and other countries in which like there's a bigger Muslim population, like, and gyms are open till later and stuff like that, you can then like really capitalize, you know. Like a lot of people will do gyms, like, you know, in the middle of the night, like, you know, right before, like during suhoor time, like around that, you know, you do that, you go to the gym, you finish, which is a great thing to do, because then you've gone, you've eaten, you have energy, you work out, you eat again after your workout, and then you take a nice deserved sleep. So, but obviously that's not the same. So like, so how did you try to maximize what you ate and the time you had to work out? Like, what things did you do that you found kind of like helped you? Like, how did you improve that process throughout the time to like tweak it for yourself, that near the end you were like, okay, this is good?
I don't think I got a nail down even at the end.
Damn.
Honest, it wasn't nailed down.
Which is
because
perfectly fine.
because of the times I wasn't able to train to what my max was.
Yeah.
So then I just decreased the weight, you know, the volume, and I, you know, try to do just as much reps as I could, really. And I didn't do as much exercise as I normally would. There was there was no cardio throughout the, you know, the month, because I was like, firstly, I didn't have the time for it. Yeah. And secondly, I didn't have the energy, you know, for it. I just kind of wanted to be done. I remember one time I was, you know, hip thrusting, and like I just sat down, and I was like seeing like Super Mario Odyssey stars in my brain. I was like, oh my God, everything is dizzy. So I felt dizzier then than throughout the day. Even though like I just ate, you know, I guess. But I guess one really good positive as well that came out of it was like my relationship with food got really like a lot better.
Okay. Which is interesting, because some people would be like, oh my God, would you not like turn into like having an ED because you're not eating, you know? So
no, because I'm like a snacker. Like I love like sweeties. I love, you know, like snacking on random things that maybe are not healthy, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But if I'm snacking all day, I'm not eating proper meals. Okay. I'm not even like thinking about it. But throughout the month, because like I said, I've spent time like cooking recipes and things like that, I've really like learned to appreciate my meal when I'm sitting down and I'm like eating until like I'm full and I'm happy, you know. And then I don't even need the snacks anymore. Look at that. You know? Pro tip. Yeah. I mean,
you want to get rid of you want to get out your snack problems? Detox yourself with a little bit of fasting.
I know. I mean, isn't that what intermittent fasting is all pushed about? Whatever. It's common sense. I know.
Yeah, but sure, like when you can only eat, it's the difference between intermittent fasting is like if you start eating at like 1 p.m. or something like that, you still have like 8+ hours to eat, so you have lots of time to snack. But when you only have one meal that you can eat, you're not gonna snack, because you're gonna want to eat actual food.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't want to snack. I was like, I don't want chocolate. I don't want sweeties.
I want food.
Some chicken and like rice or like lamb or whatever it is. So I would eat that like lovely meal. And you know, Farouk would devour whatever I'm making, because it was, you know, I was showing you my love through cooking.
Was bomb.
And then I would go to the gym, and I come back, and I knew that I needed to get like protein, you know? Yeah. Because protein intake I wasn't hitting it. Yeah. Like I just wasn't. There's simply no way. I bought so many protein bars just to eat right before bed to get something in. But right after working out, I would eat like some protein granola. Yeah. Or like some yogurt, but I definitely wasn't in the mood to eat an entire big meal again. Yeah, okay. Right? That makes sense. It's kind of like snacky food, but yeah.
Just protein.
Just trying to get that in. And water as much as I could. I wasn't hitting my best water intake.
To be honest, you don't even hit that at a normal time anyway.
I do. I have since, because, you know, you grow this appreciation for food and water. Yeah. And like, I'm like, you know, you become so much more appreciative of what you have, because, you know, there's people out there who don't have access to it. So it's like,
and you get to feel what it's like to not have that.
Yeah, there's like, you know, really, it's a really grounding experience.
How I talk about that? How like about the whole feeling of like grounding experience.
Grounding. I think it was, like I said, I felt really at peace. It was a really lovely time, and I've seen, you know, my TikTok feed was full of people that were fasting, and I was like
there's a community behind you kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was so much like inspiration from food to faith to, you know, building relationships, and that's definitely one thing that I did. try to build on my relationships with the people that I love and, you know, my friends. So,
because that's one thing I was going to ask you. How was your social life affected? Especially when, like, a lot of things you do with people revolves around eating food or going around to do stuff. So, like, how was that, like?
It still revolves around eating food. It's just later in the day.
Yeah.
I think partying, we cut out partying for the month, and
no clubbing, guys. I wasn't out in the clubs.
No. I really wanted not to. I was just like,
saved so much money.
Yeah, actually we did.
Like, I don't even drink, but I saved money just not going out, because going out is expensive.
It actually is, and it adds
fuel,
up. It adds
cost
up.
of entry.
Yeah,
no.
And then
buying food after a night out.
Buying like a little drink.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because I am someone who drinks, you know, occasionally, sometimes every weekend, sometimes every second weekend. And, you know, that being removed, I think was so good for me in so many different ways.
Her liver loved it.
Oh my days. I feel like I haven't, like, you know, I kind of got sick a little bit at the start, and I felt like I healed so fast. And I swear, not drinking alcohol made me healthier. Like, it actually did.
Yeah, I think there are studies that back that up, that claim.
Yeah, so I know what I'm saying. But, yeah, so not going out, you know, or, like, drinking kind of created this, you know, like, environment for me and my friends where I was like, guys, I want to do stuff with you in person. I want to meet up with you. Like, let's connect, like, on a spiritual level. It's not like, it sounds a little bit crazy, but all my friends were very accepting, you know. They loved hearing about it, and they were like very supportive, which was super nice. Like, I've called my friends over, you know, for dinner, and we've had dinner together, which was such a nice bonding experience. To just sit down, chat, like play some card games, which was so nice. Like, it was so nice.
She's like, I'll be doing a lot more of that often.
Yeah, I'm like, obviously I'm hoping to, because I definitely had a look at, like, my friends who have been closer and have been supporting, and, you know, those are the people that I want close to me, you know. And even the ones who say live and truly, like, you know, I was always talking to her, and when I met with her in person, we were bonding over this, which is like, it's important to have people on the same, you know, level. So that was really good. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. And I guess, like, to wrap it off and, like, kind of close off the whole thing, kind of give us, like, your key takeaways, like, which you've already talked on, and, like, the tips you would give for anyone who's trying to go into this for the first time. And once again, it's like, as we said, like, Nicoleta's not like a religious person. She's not like saying like, oh my God, I'm converting now. She's just saying like, oh, like, even for yourself, like, you know, like, I saw a bunch of TikToks of people being like, yo, I just want to try to just see, what are some tips you'd give to people who are just curious to be like, hey, let me give this a shot, you know, and so on and so forth.
I think if you're willing to give it a shot, be willing to take the other things that come with it. Like, you know, take the kind of like peacefulness and love and kind towards others with it. Don't just take it as like, I'm just gonna fast as a challenge, you know what I mean? Because I think there's so much like beauty to giving back and like being like a loving person, I guess, and really, really try to work on that.
So like,
you know what
like,
I mean?
As you said, kind of like, I guess, like, kind of like do charity if you can, do whatever, you know, like,
connect,
people around close.
Connect with the people around you, show love to the people around you.
Don't go out partying.
You know, like, at the end of the day, you can't tell people what to do or not to do, but like, advice, I guess, is connect in the moment, with people, do things that don't revolve around partying and drinking. Try not to, you know, try cut back on that. And, you know, if you believe in God, do work on your relationship with God, because I think it's really important. It's not something that we talk about often on the pod, I guess.
For good reasons, because you guys would just go crazy in the comment section. I'm not trying to have that.
I don't think they would, but
yeah.
I do think I have a really strong relationship with God, and I think this month really helped me with that. I think I was praying a lot more, you know, and like stuff like that, being grateful for so much more, and it was really beautiful experience for me. And I think it's something that I can see myself do every year. I think I was kind of like a bit sad that Ramadan was over, you know?
Damn, nah. Nicoleta just pulled out the freaking Imam card where they're like, you should be crying that Ramadan is over. The Imam every time they're in like Eid prayer, he's just like, you should be crying, you should be sad that it's gone, that's leaving. You should be down.
I didn't even realize that was happening, but I actually genuinely did feel like a wave of sadness.
Yeah.
You know, because I just felt like it was such a beautiful time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're willing to give it a go, do. But like I said, do try to be a kind, loving person.
Yeah, you should try to be like that all the time, guys.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? I think a lot of times we just forget to be humans to each other, and like we just get so carried away in our own little bubbles. Like a nice reminder, a grounding reminder. Very.
To be like that.
Very.
Very big props to Nicoleta. She did well, honestly. Like I was there every day and day out. She did very well. I have to give it to her. And it's really cool to see someone, you know, like try something that you've done, or like and being like taking it on the chin and just acing it, you know. So like definitely big props to you.
Thank you.
And
what's some of the advice that you have for someone willing to try it?
Honestly, pretty much what you said. Like just be smart about it. Be like you don't need to dive into the deep end like Nicoleta did. Like she kind of did, but I don't think you need to. Like you can do half day fast. You can do fast for as long as you want, stuff like that. And also at the same time, like definitely you need to understand that all the things that were consistent will not be consistent the same way during that time. Like you might, like work might be affected. Like Nicola's case is not like a one shoe fits all kind of
like
thing.
Like I said, you know? I'm privileged because I work from home.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like, you know, even for me, like I find working during Ramadan hard. I do find going to the gym hard, like all those stuff. Like, and you just have to be able to understand, and you try to do whatever fits within your schedule. You know, like if you have a gym if you're a person that goes to the gym and you can go to the gym later, like do that for sure. Don't be trying to go during the day. That is crazy. Like, do not ever try. It is crazy. Like I used to do all the time when I was young, and I regretted it. Like it's so bad for you. And like just like honestly take your time with it, and just slowly, I know why you're doing it. Like don't just do it just to do it. Like as think it's not for a challenge, just like give yourself a reason to do it, and then go from there. Honestly,
I'm gonna agree with you. Actually, another fun fact, you know, I was thinking like I've been fasting, barely eating, and I haven't like lost any weight, which was like, it's funny, your brother was talking about it recently as well. But it's actually the water retention in your body because you're not hydrated at all. Yeah. And as soon as actually the month is over, like I like saw the weight just go, like my body was kind of went back to normal. So, you know, that was just a little side fact.
Yeah.
Don't try to get stressed out, especially if you're a gym person. You know?
Yeah, don't stress it out. Don't worry. But yeah, no, that's our discussion on Ramadan and how Nicoleta found doing it for the first time. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it'll inspire you to do whatever you want to do. Doesn't really matter. Don't really care.
Sharing our experience.
Yeah, you know.
As always.
And but as always, like, subscribe, comment, talk to us. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Everything. Tell us if we're crazy. Like, oh my god, you're religious nuts. Fucking whatever.
Religious nuts.
Yeah, don't care. I don't read your comments anyway, so.
We're not even someone who talk about religion often, you know?
Yeah, so.
But I think that would be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they
don't want me. Sad that Ramadan.
No, I'm telling you right now, the comments are about to be spicy, but I really generally don't give a shit, so it is whatever. And
actually, do you think that it's weird if people who are not part of the Muslim community doing it?
No, I think it's perfectly fine. I think, like, once again, like I think anyone can do anything. Like and as you said, like you got benefits from it. You're not even Muslim, and you got benefits from it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. So absolutely, I think anyone should be able to do it. So
yeah, I feel like, you know, if you're able to connect even with any religion, like in a beautiful, like peaceful way.
Like people literally fast in different religions. Like you can just say, okay, they're doing it now, but I'm just gonna do it from whatever, in the name of whatever the hell, you know. So
yeah, find your purpose.
Find your purpose, and that's all that matters.
And that's all we had for today.
Till next time. Peace.